Hi everybody. Tonight we are going to be talking about how to transfer on a very detailed and realistic wildlife piece. So I have my image printed out and it is taped on and ready to go. And I'm going to be using graphite paper tonight. That's kind of my go-to. I love the ability to transfer on exactly what I want and where I want and how dark or light I want that in those areas. Every image in Woodburning University has this reference photo in kind of a sepia tone, and then it also has more of a simple line drawing. I know some people want something more simplified, and that's why I include that with all the patterns. This pattern is available in two places. It is available on Woodburning University. It's under the premium pattern listing. And if you are a Mighty Network supporter over on our paid platform, this is included with your monthly subscription as a premium pattern. But if you're not a supporter on Mighty Networks, you can definitely pick it up over on Woodburning University. I really love to start with the center of that eye, and then we're going to go around the highlights here. When it comes to realism, especially realistic wildlife, the eyes are where it's so captivating for me. And that's what I really want to capture the most. So I'm going to put a lot of detail into my main features. As I get out into like the fur and the mane, I can kind of pick and choose where that all goes and mix that in. Okay, so I get the center of the eye, I do the highlight. Make sure you go around the highlight kind of big and chunky, because any white area that you try to burn around, it's so easy to lose it all together if you don't outline it wide enough. So I want to make sure that that is ready to go. See, next I'm going to go around the widest, darkest part of the eyes. And then we kind of mix into the fur there. And then we have the inner edge of the eyeball itself, and it goes up and kind of disappears into the darkness above. And then you can always take a look and make sure that you're getting that transferred on. So this is a brand new piece of graphite. If the harder that you press, the darker the lines are going to be. So that's pretty okay for right now because I want this nice detail. But once we get out into the lighter areas, you don't need to press overly hard. So I have just the eyes there. Let's jump down here to the nose. Again, I'm going to be looking for big value changes. So the difference here where the dark meets the light, we have, this is a hard edge. This is more of a soft edge, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to add in some of these little speckle spots there for the nose. And we can take a look and see how that is. So here we just have our main base. So now that I have kind of those base areas, I'm just going to expand outward from there. And we're going to come up here and start looking for big chunks of value. And I'm going to keep kind of a zigzag line work here to indicate where those fur zones are. You can kind of think about an animal as like a topography map, and the areas that are the darkest are going to be the lower elevations, and then the highlights are going to be like your mountains. So I'm going to try to make sure I follow the direction of the fur as I'm putting in these zones, looking for big changes of value. One thing that I don't want to do with these topo zones is kind of encircle them. So there's a nice one here, but I don't want to just draw a line designating that zone. If I'm going to put that zone in, I'm going to continue to put in those fur strokes. You don't have to do a lot, just something to kind of indicate where those zones are. But if you have a rough, jagged edge like this, it gives you not only the zones, the topo zones, but also the direction of the fur as well. Very rarely do I just do a single line like here. This is pretty narrow, so I can put a single line in there like that. But generally I will do kind of an enclosure, like a little fence, a jaggedy fence. And that gives me that zone. So even as we go a little bit lighter here, I'm still following the direction of the fur, and I'm going to enclose it, kind of fence it in for that value. Let's see, and then you can have like fences within fences here too. So I'm going to close this in. And as I get farther out here, my strokes are going to start to get longer because the fur is going to get longer. I like using a red pen because it's easy for me to see my zones. Once I have these zones in place, then I can follow it up very easily with the corresponding zones that are here. And so having the red guidelines to match up is a big help for me so I don't get lost. With something like this that is this intricate, you can easily get lost. Especially because before I burn, I sand the guidelines until you can barely see them. But I don't want those guidelines to be too dark, especially in these lighter areas here. Because once you burn over the graphite, it can be really difficult to remove. I do like these little scars on the nose, so I'll do single lines for those. That shows a lot of character in there. Now this is where you can add as much detail or as little detail as you want. I am not going to put in every little fur stroke. I'm going to rely on these zones to tell me the main patches of fur, the way that the hair is going in those, and then as you can see here, you can kind of start to fill in. You can see how the direction is changing a little bit, and you can fill it in as you go. So you don't have to put in every little fur stroke. I just like a few here and there. But my main thing is these zones, the value changing areas. And you don't always have to have a complete enclosure on your zone. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. And I'm not quite thinking in like shading scale, like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit, but not so much. I just want to get a nice idea of these areas where our value is definitely changing from its surroundings. Whiskers are a challenge. They're always a challenge. So a lot of times what I do with whiskers is I don't outline the whole thing. I used to, and it just didn't work out the way that I had wanted it to. So generally I think about just putting a shadow on the underside of the whisker. I don't want to draw over the whisker. I'm going to go under it. So each one of these whiskers, I'm going to add a little shadow underneath. That still shows me where the whisker is, but allows me a little bit of leeway as far as how I create these whiskers. There's a couple different ways that you can do wood burning whiskers. I originally started just burning the tiny little negative spaces around each whisker. That's very time consuming and tedious, but you can do it. You just want to burn around the whiskers really chunky, make them thick and fat, and then start shaving them down thinner and thinner until they're nice and wispy. So you can totally do that. Another thing that you can do is scratch them in with a little sharp pointy thing at the end or before you burn. It doesn't really matter. So that is definitely the easier way to create whiskers, is to scratch them in. So trying to put in some of these little like whisker ports where the whiskers come out of, they're often dark circles. But I don't want to just draw simple circles. You can see that I'm still putting in my fur strokes. Everything's going to be fur stroke related. Okay, so I'm going to go around these chunky white whiskers here, And I'm going to do long strokes. I'm not going to get all of each individual hair, but I'm going to try to find the value changes and start putting those in. They are going to crisscross at the bottom, but that's okay. All right, let's see how that looks. So again, we're just trying to capture the overall essence and shape of each section there. So now that we have that outline, we can put in a few of these little details. Fur has so many little inverted V's, like the shape, the letter V. So we're looking for those as well, and we can put those in. And we have lots of tiny V's up in here. So even with just a few marks, we have some nice structure to follow later. So look, we already have a very nice expressive little fella here. We have our zones in place. We have the fur direction. It's going to be easy to follow. My lines are kind of dark, but I'll sand those down until we can kind of barely see those. Do not get overwhelmed with each little hair, because most of these hairs in here are light in value, and we can't really burn light values. We can burn around light values, but we're going to have to focus on the darks. I'm looking for large value chunks in here still, and still following the direction of the hair. So all I'm doing right now is just training my eye to see the fluctuations in the values. Now, if you want to take the time to put in every little hair, you certainly can at this point. If you're going for more of a hyper-realism, that's totally fine. The way that I burn, especially portraits, is I want to put the most effort into like the soul of the project. So the face, the eyes, the expression, that's where I'm going to spend the most care and detail transferring. Once I get kind of outside that facial focus area, I'm going to loosen up my style, and I'm going to just start putting in more chunky sections here, because that's going to be more free-flowing and fluid, and it doesn't have to be quite so exact. So definitely loosening up as far as getting farther away from the main face. But if you see that's not enough detail in there, go ahead and look for those little sections of value change. And those lovely V's. All right, so I think the line is looking pretty good overall. So we have lots of these lovely little topo zones in there. So the lamb has very different texture. So this little fella is going to be very soft and fluffy. The entire edge around him is going to be a very soft edge. So I'm going to try to stay outside of the outer shape just a little bit. I don't want to draw directly on there. I'm going to go just outside of it, so I can create kind of like a little fade in, a little fuzziness there. And I'm still keeping a little bit of an irregular edge, as you can see, to try to match the texture of the lamb. I'm not going to do just a simple solid line there. I still want to capture some of that irregular edging. And then we're going to ground the lamb, so it's, give it kind of a shadow to where it's laying on the ground here. That can be irregular. Okay, so he is going to be fluffy shapes. We're going to try to capture the irregular nature of these zones. I don't want to press so hard that I indent the wood either. I want it to stay soft and light. As far as when it comes time to burning the fur, this would be a great time for kind of even some of that little wiggle worm technique that we do to kind of make this area look nice and irregular. Give it that wool effect. Yeah, I call it the wiggle worm technique. It's basically like when you're burning, you pretend like the point is a worm that has no idea which way it's going to go, and it just kind of goes here and there and around in just odd random ways. So you can kind of go clockwise in a path and counterclockwise, and you kind of mix it up and wander around like you're a little lost worm on the panel here. And it creates a really neat mottled and irregular texture like the wool here. Okay, so here we have some strong light up here. So there's kind of a little bit of that wiggle worm technique. It's just very sporadic as far as not really choosing a straight line or a straight path. I want to just be really like lost and crazy here on these little lines. Wool it can be a nightmare to burn because you've got everywhere that these little dark patches, those sink in, and to create a very three-dimensional wool, you've got to make sure that you get in and create all those little cracks, and your darkest value is going to be in the base of those cracks. And then as each puff comes forward, the very top of it's going to be the lightest, and then you need a mid-tone on each side. Throw out the idea in your mind that you're going to wood burn a paw. Just take a look at the abstract shapes where the values change. So that's what I'm going to focus on, because all of these little changes in value, those are going to be like more of your muscle structure that's underneath. You don't have to know anatomy and all that. Just take a look at these different light and dark areas. And that's one thing that's really fun about wood burning hair and fur, is it is so abstract. You know, the eyes have to be right and the main features have to be right, but beyond that, it's just so fun and abstract when it comes to fur. That's why I say you can give this project to 100 different people and they will each pick their different zones, because it's just what my eye sees at that time. If you want more zones, you can put more in, depending on how detailed you want it to be. But it's all open to interpretation, and I think that's really cool. Alrighty, now I want to put a little bit of a drop shadow in here. Oh, there we go. And then this is going to get kind of ambiguous over here on this side, because the lion is in darkness and he's kind of emerging into the light. So don't worry about all of this stuff in here, because it's not going to be as critical, because we're going to try to create that illusion of depth in the project where he just emerges from the darkness and into the light. And fur on the paws can change direction a lot. So it's going to be kind of almost like a little starburst at the peak of where the paw is like pointing directly at you. The fur is pointing directly at you. It's going to be almost a star-shaped pattern. But all of this fur in here is going to be pretty short. So each of these little zones can be, you know, bone structure, muscle structure. So don't overlook these zones, especially on the paws. Those are, I think, quite important. Steve is saying that it almost looks like a paint by numbers. I agree. I have always thought that. It reminds me of almost like a burn by number system. So I'm just going to unhinge it from here, untape it from there, and then lift. And we'll take a look at any areas that seem maybe incomplete. An obvious area that I forgot, you know, if you forgot to transfer on an entire eye, that's kind of a problem. So I think we're pretty good. Before we start burning on this, we'll sand it. And we'll sand down all these graphite lines until we can just barely see them before we start burning. Alrighty, good night.